Hey, what's going on, guys? It is your boy Scythe Lucifer here with another tier list. I did a KSI all over the place album tier list with all the songs, and I decided that, you know what, that was really fun, so I'm gonna do this with a different game known as Demon Souls. These bosses are going to be ranked on difficulty and overall coolness of the way they look. We're going to zoom in here just to get a slightly better view of all these guys. I have here, just so I can remember to pronounce all the names correctly. So, first up, I believe this is the Dragon God, one of the, I believe they're called archdemons. He was relatively easy to fight after you got the gist of the fight. It was a very interesting fight, considering you shot one turret, and then he was like, oh god, why did that happen? Oh well, back to standing here. So I'm going to go ahead and put this one into B tier. It was easy, but it was cool and cool looking, and I enjoyed it. Now, the Old Monk, I believe this one is called. Yes, the Old Monk. Is one of the easiest and worst fights in the game. I don't like this fight because it's so incredibly easy. Maybe it's because I fought it as the second to last archdemon, so I had my +8 weapon, and the guy that he summons is just a joke. I mean, you hit him a few times and he dies, and his magical attacks that float around him are not scary whatsoever. Now, Old King Allant, I believe is how you pronounce that. Allant, I believe. He is going straight to S tier. This is one of my favorite fights. He has a few different attacks. They all have different dodge rolls. And overall, they're just relatively fun to play. And his AoE is massive, but you just need one hit and he dies. Next, Armored Spider. Armored Spider is a very fun fight. We're gonna go ahead and chuck this one into I'm floating between A and B. It's definitely above Dragon God. I'll put it into B, but above Dragon God. It's fun, but he has an attack where he lights the entirety of the floor on fire, which is not a lot of fun. His swing attack with both his claws can be dodged pretty easily, and his slam attack can be dodged by standing in the middle of the arena. So, Tower Knight. This guy I'm going to put into C tier. If you have played the game of Bloodborne and you thought to yourself, hey, you know the One Reborn boss fight? I wish that fight was harder. Then here you go. This is literally just the One Reborn, but slightly more difficult. I mean, you have a boss that's actually active, has a good ranged attack, and you're getting shot by people from above. And it's not fun. It is just annoying. It's not incredibly difficult, but it is very annoying. Now, this next boss fight, Maiden Astrea, is the easiest fight in the game if you use a weapon that you get in the first level just before you run into the blue dragon for the first time. It is a bow dropped by a red enemy. I had enough dexterity and strength to use it, and if you sit in a spot and shoot at her, she will eventually die. Now, I'm going to put this one into D tier because it was not interesting and it was not fun. I just shot her with a bow from a million miles away. That did way too much damage. And, yeah. The Adjudicator. The only person in the world who is so fat that he is actually immune to damage. You damage him by hitting the sword that has been stabbed into his gut a few times until he falls over, and it exposes the little birdie on the top of his non-existent head. So, this guy is easy once you figure out what to do. I had to look it up mid-fight, and that was not very fun, but overall, I think he is a C tier. Tower Knight definitely above him in difficulty, but we're going to put him there. This guy, his name, the Flame Lurker, will be instantly going up to A tier. This boss has the second most confirmed kills on me in the game. Actually, no, he doesn't. I beat him first try. It was a different guy who had that. Disregard what I said. That was Armor Spider, who has second most. This guy is very quick, very jumpy, and very aggressive, unlike some of the other bosses. I know the other bosses don't sit back and wait for you to attack, but this guy is much more on top of you. Now, he also has some really good Fire Punch AoEs, and all his stuff have different timings, and he's definitely a lot of fun to fight. I believe this one is the Storm King, but I could be wrong. Yes, it is the Storm King. The Storm King is another Archdemon fight. We're going to go ahead and put this one into B tier. I think it was a very cool fight, but it was very hard to hit him. Sometimes I could hit him before I even see him on screen, and other times I was right underneath him, and my sword that they give you did not hit him. Now, the boss that has the most confirmed kills on me in the game, the Man-Eater. We're going to go ahead and put, I believe that's what he's called. Hang on, let me just double check that I'm not getting names wrong. Yep, the Man-Eater. Man-Eater is a very fun fight. He is some type of werewolf type beast with wings and a snake for a tail. The snake will sometimes bite him on the head, stunning him for a few seconds. This fight was one of the last fights that I actually fought, and it was one of the more fun, but also had a bit of BS. He has a lunge attack that would sometimes knock you off the narrow edge. Since I was strong enough, I could kill the first one before the second one even came in, and then I could just circle the fire pit that is in the middle of the arena and eventually kill him. Next up is the Penetrator. I'm just going to double check that is what he's actually called. Yep, the Penetrator. This fight is really, really cool, and I'm going to put it into the S tier. The cutscene that you get right before he introduces himself is very cool. He has only like 3 different attacks, but they all have different dodge timing. It just really makes you feel like a bad A when you dodge perfectly. Next, this is one guy that I actually had to start over after I had already beaten the game to fight. And honestly, he's just not fun. He's just a big guy who does the butt crash technique every 2 seconds. He's going to go into D tier. The Fool's Idol. Arguably one of the easiest, if not the easiest, fights in the game after you kill the correct geriatric above the arena, which I did not do on my first attempt, so I actually had to fight her twice because, as the name implies, I am a fool. We're going to go ahead and put her into C tier as well. The Dirty Colossus. Oh yeah, they named the boss after my junk. This is a massive rock covered in maggots. So naturally, the best way to fight him is to stay as close as possible. He has a machine gun that will shoot maggots that will slowly drain your blood if you get too far away from him, so a ranged weapon is really not the best option. A cool but very stereotypical fight. We're going to put him into the middle of the tier list at B tier. Here we have the first Rom the Vacuous Spider fight of Demon Souls. I forget what this one is called, so we're going to go here, the Leechmongerer. If you need to know anything about this fight, it's that go away from him and come back later when you're stronger. You do not do that much damage, even when your weapon is coated in fire, which he is weak to, and you have to stay close to him or else he will heal 1/3 of his health before you can do any damage to him. He also has a attack where he swings his arms around frantically, which do enough stamina damage to completely knock your shield away, even if you are at the max stamina or the soft cap. A really annoying fight. I beat him on my first try, but it took me about 10 minutes. We're going to go ahead and put him into, C or D? Yeah, we're going to put him into D tier. The Old Hero, as this one is called, is a blind guy with a massive sword, massive hitboxes, and a big old AoE attack that you cannot interrupt. One of the more fun bosses in the game. I thought it was kind of cool how if you step and break a pot in this sort of cave area that you are in, he will snap onto you like a predator missile. And overall, his dodge timings were really cool. If you want to fight him with some very easy strats, you can very simply just stay at a relatively close to mid-range, and he will jump attack you, which you can roll towards, through, get 2 hits, and back off and repeat. This is a really cool fight. I'm going to go ahead and put this one into A tier. I really enjoyed it. Now, last, but certainly not least, in fact, it is the first fight of the game that I don't know how to pronounce. I really don't want to butcher this name, but I'm afraid Phalanx is what I'm going to call it. Phalanx is one of the worst fights in the game. Not that it is difficult, but it is extremely annoying. If you ever thought to yourself, I really wish Rom the Vacuous Spider was easier, then here you go. It is a Rom the Vacuous Spider who doesn't shoot space missiles. That's about it. He has nothing going for him. He's weak to fire, but fire bombs aren't exactly in high enough supply. I actually, when I played, killed all of his minions beforehand and then just started attacking him. It was a 15-minute fight and was overall really annoying. So we're going to chuck him into D tier. Now, this is the part of the video where I go through and make sure that I don't need to make any revisions. And I gotta say that I'm pretty happy with the way this turned out. Maybe Tower Knight should be a little higher due to his difficulty. We'll throw him in B tier above Dragon God. That's about it. Overall, Demon's Souls was a really fun game. None of these bosses were able to kill me more than 3 times. Man-Eater killed me exactly 3. Armor Spider killed me 2. Tower Knight killed me 2. And the rest of them were a first try, except of course Fool's Idol, but she never killed me. Overall, Demon's Souls, the remastered version, was a really fun game, and if they ever came out with a DLC, I would probably play it. It is a game that I would like to highly suggest to everybody watching this video. And yeah, overall the bosses were fun, the levels are fun, everything was good. The only thing annoying was that I used the winged spear for the entirety of the game because I could not stand that my sword kept bouncing off the walls in narrow corridors. And this has been your boy Scythe Lucifer, and I will see you guys next time.